Hello and welcome to this online College of Coding video tutorial series. This is the 8th video in the series of intermediate breaky blocks in Unity. In this video, we're adding sound effects to the game and finishing it off with a bloom effect. Before starting this video, it's recommended you've seen the previous videos in the series, as well as the introduction to Unity videos and intermediate programming concept videos. Let's get started. As the absolute final touch to our game, we're going to add some sound effects and music, as well as a visual camera effect. We need to get these assets from a package, so import the sound asset package to your project now. There are quite a few sound files in that asset package. It might be worth having a think about when in the game each of those sounds might be played, based on its name. Select the game manager in the hierarchy, then click the Add Component button in the inspector. From the audio section, choose an audio source component. Next, click the circle next to the audio clip slot and choose the Breaky Blocks music file from the options. We need to make sure that in the component, the play on awake box and the loop tick box are both checked. Now when you play the game, the music will start straight away and loop for the rest of the game. Our next task is to create the prefabs that will have the sound effects attached, so we can spawn the sounds in the game whenever we need them. In the hierarchy, click the Create menu and choose Create Empty. Repeat this 4 times so that you have 4 new empty game objects, 1 for each sound effect. For each one of them, we need to select it in the hierarchy, use the Add Component button in the inspector to add an audio source component. We also need to choose an audio file for the audio source component and rename the game object to be the same as the audio file that we chose. Now we've got 4 objects that we need to do this for. Each of those will have one of the sound effects: ball destroy, brick destroy, game over, and new ball. We also need to reset their transform components to zero out their positions. Now we need to create a folder within our prefabs folder for all of our sound effects. With our sound effect game objects complete, we now just need to drag them from the hierarchy into our new sound effects folder and turn them into prefabs. So one by one, drag them each into the project browser. Now that we've got prefabs of our sound effects, we can go ahead and use them in our scripts. So let's get started by opening up the ball script and adding its destroy sound. We create our sound effect as the ball collides with the floor and is destroyed. Because of the way that the instantiate function works, we can use it as the parameter for the destroy function. The instantiate function returns a game object, and the destroy function takes a game object as a parameter. So that sound effect isn't destroyed straight away. We can also add a float parameter to the destroy function as a time until the object is destroyed. In summary, we're creating our sound effect and immediately queuing it for destruction after 5 seconds. Select and copy this line of code because we're going to use it for the rest of our instantiations of our other sound effects. Jump straight into the brick script now because we've got 2 sound effects to add here, one for the destruction of the brick and one for the brick creating a new ball. We've got to create public game object variables at the top of the script for these and then paste our line of code in the appropriate locations of the brick's break function. But remember to change destruction sound to new ball sound as the prefab created when the purple brick breaks. Move to the game manager script now, where we create the game object variable for the game over sound effect prefab. Then in the endgame function, paste again the line of code and change the instantiated prefab to be the game over sound that we just created. All the code for the sound effects is now set up. We just need to go back to Unity and pair up the prefabs from earlier with the game object variables we just created. Go to the prefabs folder and select the explosion. This is a quick one we can get out of the way. Use the Add Component button to add an audio source component to the explosion and select the explosion sound effect as the audio clip. Now let's link in the sound effect prefabs to their correct script components. Begin by selecting the ball prefab, then in the left-hand side of the project browser, select the sound effects folder. This is a little bit of a shortcut that won't clear your inspector. Drag the ball destroy prefab into the destruction sound slot on the ball script. Next, select the brick prefab and drag the brick destroy and new ball sound effects into its script. Lastly, select the game manager in the hierarchy and then drag the game over prefab from the project browser into its script. Now, hit the play button and all of the sounds are going to play exactly where we expect. There's the brick break, the explosion, the new ball, the ball destroy, and game over. Awesome. It is time for the absolute final touch to the Breaky Blocks project. To add the bloom camera effect, find and import the bloom effect asset package. Then select the main camera in the hierarchy, click the Add Component button in the inspector, and choose from the image effects the bloom script in the press the play button to test out the bloom effect we just added. Look how cool Breaky Blocks just got. You might need to play it through a couple of times just to test it out. Congratulations on finishing the Breaky Blocks project. You've learned some awesome programming skills in this tutorial series. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to step up to the next level and try out an advanced tutorial. If you need a more detailed explanation on anything we covered in this video, or any of the videos that we do, check out the General Programming Concepts video series.